Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Welcome, welcome, welcome. No one is probably watching, but Chinny's here because I went early. So this is going to be an incredibly short stream, probably less than 10 minutes. I'm exhausted tonight, so I didn't want to stream at all, but I thought this was comical. So we're going to take a look at a video. And then we'll get into what the hell we're looking at, and then we'll watch the video one more time. So, for your viewing pleasure. Hey, Barb. Some devastation. I know, but like I said, super short stream, like 10 minutes. I'm exhausted, so I'm not going to be streaming like anything in depth. Look at all that. So, why would I show you some wreckage of some buildings randomly? Well, that's because we'll probably watch the same thing again, but we'll listen to ABC News 11 explain it.
Obviously, we're still working to learn all that information about how it's going to have ramifications down the line, which it almost certainly will. We mentioned earlier, we spoke to someone who worked in that section that you could see from Chopper 11 that had collapsed. It had been reduced to a pile of rubble and debris and rebar, and that's the warehouse area, he said. So as we learn more about what the potential impacts will be to supply chain and to the product that's housed.
Oh, I thought he was going to explain it. He's just talking about the supply chain. So we'll talk about it. A Pfizer worker described to ABC 11 the moments when the tornado struck the huge facility. ABC 11, Sean Coffey reports. Rocky Mount, North Carolina. A tornado heavily damaged a large Pfizer pharmaceutical plant in North Carolina on Wednesday, scattering medicine and other debris around the complex. That's what I'm saying. Pfizer said its large complex in Rocky Mount was damaged by a twister that tore through Nash County. I've been to Rocky Mount, pretty area. We are assessing the situation to determine the impact on production. The company said, our thoughts are with colleagues, our patients, and the community as we rebuild from this weather incident. A Pfizer employee who spoke to ABC 11 said that it happened in a span of 60 to 90 seconds, and there was no time to think. He said first the lights flickered inside the facility, and then it sounded like a bomb went off. The worker said he and his group immediately ran to a designated safe area. To my knowledge, no one was injured. So, yeah. And they're reporting the same thing. So, there were no serious injuries. Pfizer said the tornado's path started just west of Nashville, traveling northeast through Red Oak, crossing I-95 north of US 64 before running out of energy just before Scotland Neck. Yeah, weird, right? Weird how some stuff happens. I shouldn't be laughing, but nobody's injured, so I feel like I can laugh. Nash County Sheriff Keystone said Pfizer plant stores large quantities of medicine, and he added that debris was spread all around. The plant's warehouse area sustained the brunt of the damage. So we'll watch the Doppler from the storm track.
So this actually shows the rotation as it was working through, and where we see that bright blue rotation right there, starting just west of Nashville, going south of Red Oak. This is the path the storm took. and you can see it ran right up across I-95 north of US 64. And
What's up,
then
buddy?
that storm
What's up, Daddy?
continued off to the north and to the
Dog,
east
Mama.
before that rotation finally died out as it approached Scotland Neck. Luckily, Scotland Neck was at the end of that. But if we look at kind of where the heaviest rotation started, down there south and west of Nashville, and then we put a path on this, and that's what I was actually working on right there as we came out to me. Here's where that rotation started. And we were seeing rotation in excess of about 28 miles to the lightest rotation with this storm. So I think this thing has a path of at least 20 miles or longer. We'll have to wait until the National Weather Service does their assessment. But that's kind of where we are as far as how long this thing was on the ground. That is long for us. Most tornadoes last less than 20 minutes. This one would have lasted if this... Well, let's go back and look. We'll look together as we see. Let me shut off that path again. And we're going to take that rotation. What time did we start seeing? The time is on the title up there, and we see the heaviest rotation start in Nashville right around 12:17. And then it's on the ground. We see our last piece of rotation show up at 1:17. So that's over an hour. And again, most tornadoes are on the ground less than 20 minutes. So this thing beats that by almost 3 times. So that...
Okay. We don't need to listen to him rattle on. Listen to me rattle on instead. I've got reports of 50,000 pallets of medicine that are strewn across the facility and damaged through the rain and wind, he said. Pfizer is one of the largest employers in the country. Late Wednesday afternoon, the National Weather Service estimated that the twister was at least an EF2 tornado with indicated winds up to 135 miles per hour. That's not much in the way of wind, actually. An EF2 tornado maybe shouldn't have done that much damage. But, you know, yeah, it was incredibly long. Incredibly long. But yeah, an EF2 is not usually as destructive as this appears to be. So, yeah, I'm not sure. One of the things that this does is there are life-saving medications that are not a jab that Pfizer does happen to produce, and this may interrupt some of those. So if you are on those medications, then it's probably a good idea. There will probably be some supply chain disruptions, and it's probably a good idea to contact your provider and a pharmacist just to see if there's any interruptions. So, but nothing we say constitutes advice in any way. We are for jokes and entertainment only. Just, so there's conflicting reports. So one says EF2, one says EF3. But the National Weather Service... Hang on, give me 1 second. Sorry, I had a cat trying to jump on stream. So the National Weather Service will make that final determination, but to my knowledge, they haven't yet. So, hey, Linda. So, only a 2, yeah. So I have another report that says 3. We'll look into that one as well. This one's from Raw Alerts. So a Pfizer pharmaceutical plant has been damaged by a large destructive tornado in Rocky Mount, North Carolina. A destructive and large EF3 tornado rated by so it was rated by the National Weather Service. Okay, so it is an EF3. The National Weather Service said 3. So the original report was a 2. The National Weather Service has upgraded it to a 3, which is not uncommon. Has heavily damaged a large Pfizer pharmaceutical plant in Rocky Mount, North Carolina, Wednesday evening, scattering and damaging over 50,000 pallets of medicine and other debris around the complex. Pfizer, the company that owns the facility, said its large complex in Rocky Mount was heavily damaged by a twister that tore through Nash County. No injuries were reported when the tornado struck the building. Again, this is some nasty damage. Some nasty damage. It must have took either direct hit or close to a direct hit. That's my guess. The National Weather Service upgraded it, so. Incredible. Okay. If you're in Rocky Mount, North Carolina, it's probably a very hardened facility. That's going to cost them some money, though, for sure. I mean, that's a lot of damage. So we have suspected footage update 3 minutes ago. Here's footage that shows the destructive EF3 tornado passing through Rocky Mount area in North Carolina this evening, causing heavy damage to multiple homes and businesses. The first comment is always so good. No matter what, it's always so good. Bioregional building codes now. No new above ground buildings in Tornado Alley. No combustible houses in wildfire areas. Flood prone hurricane places should have elevated concrete box condos. Yeah. I tend to agree with you on we need to do things to mitigate. Again, it comes down to I don't trust and or want the government to have that much say in what I do. So I'm torn, for sure. But always the first comment is just fabulous every single time. So if you're ever the first comment on a video, make sure it's a good one. But so apparently this is the footage from the actual tornado that ripped through. So
yo, that's a motherfucking tornado. Good. That's crazy, son. It's a motherfucking tornado right in front of my ass.
So get your ass inside. What the hell's wrong with you?
That's crazy. Get my motherfucking ass in the house. Crazy. I'm thinking I'm tripping. This is a damn tornado. I'm about to do some white hole shit. I'm glad it ain't one night touching the ground. It look like it's going by. Yeah.
Wait, what?
That's crazy. I ain't never seen that. You can see that shit just the good, bro. That shit crazy.
So it looks like a dangerous tornado, though. Kind of rain wrapped, little dark, so you can't see the actual falling or anything. Those ones are always very dangerous. But a lot of winds, for sure.
Yo, that's a motherfucking tornado.
I did my part. So that's the news, ladies and gentlemen. I was just overcome with having to share that with you guys. No. But again, for real, normal people could have been injured. Thankfully, they weren't, or none that we know of so far. And again, they do provide probably a lot of medications that are life-saving and needed for individuals. So if that is the bucket you're in, please just be aware of it. because there could be disruptions in supply chains. With that said, I am exhausted today. I'm probably going to go sleep. I lied. I'm going to go play video games. We all know this. But then I'm going to go to sleep. So, keeping this one real short tonight. But thank you all so very much for stopping by. I appreciate you all. And we will catch you tomorrow for the news roundup. And I'll add it if there's any new news with it. Thanks as always, Brian S., for the outro music. And y'all have a great night. Take care.